get out there in them streets. Okay? At least mine was. You know, I lived in a restrictive home. I was like, I am free for once. So what was my intention then? Not doing anything my parents told me to do. It was going to be completely opposite. So 30s, you start changing your intention, right? Some women, biological clock starts ticking. I might need to have some kids or not. These days, ladies are, waiting to have children, best they can. So what's happening in that time? What are your intentions right now? We have to be clear on that, especially when you start commingling. Okay? You gentlemen, could be in your 20s, late 20s, mid-30s. You might have a different mindset. You want to settle down and have kids. You not ready. You ready. You got to talk about that. You got to look within and say, what am I really ready for? What are you going to call this relationship? And they have so many different slang terms for hanging out, talking, dating, hooking up, all of that. But it only matters to y'all, okay? If that's what you got to figure out. What does it matter to you guys? So when we are dating, what does it look like? What's our intention? I am dating to get married. Okay? We got to think about that. And I'm finding older people that have become divorced and in their 50s starting anew. So they had some trauma from that previous marriage. And I always ask, and I'm sure, Bishop, you probably ask the same thing. Did you work through that stuff with that other marriage before you getting into this one? No, yes. What are your intentions? And you have to be authentic and true to you. You can't send your representative in to go to premarital counseling. All of you have to show up. That's your intention. I want to be better. And all of you guys have the right to be better. And that could mean by yourself. It could mean this is the one forever. This could be the one that's my best friend. You get to define that. We're finding over time, longitudinal studies are showing, and I'll get into some statistics later, that millennials are waiting to get married. I know some of you guys have some younger children that are like, oh, yes, I want to do this, or I don't want to do that. I don't want to get married. I need to chase my career. And you're like, no, baby girl, you're 30. You can't do that. No, these millennials are waiting. They don't want that drama. They don't want that smoke. It is not what they're trying to do. So that's a good thing. I think them making better decisions is a good idea. I have a 25-year-old son. I'm not a grandmother yet. I am okay with that because he wants to get his career. Now, earlier on in life, I didn't know if that was going to work out like that, but it did. Thank you, divine creator. But he doesn't. He wants to get his career first. And he's like, So I'm thankful for that. So, but his intentions are, I'm going to date. Okay, and I tell him, make sure you're defining what that means to the young lady that you're with. And it doesn't have to match up. Nobody's saying that it has to match up immediately, but as long as you're clear with your intentions. Now, is it your fault that, that they didn't see it that way? No. And we'll get into that codependent stuff later. Your identity. Your identity. Pride and shame are cousins. And so, how do you rep on the streets? That's what the identity is. What do you look like to other people? Not really who you are, it's how other people see you. Even though identity has a word I in it, it's really not you that put this out there. It's what other people think of you. So say, for instance, you're in school and your identity is to be smart like your brother and sister. Right? Teachers are like, oh, my goodness, you're little Sean's little sister, aren't you? Yeah. Oh, my goodness, he was an excellent student. Oh, yeah, great. What happens? You rip that classroom up. And they're like, what is wrong with you? Right? That's what those teachers ask. Why aren't you like your brother? Well, because that's not me. Your identity gets wrapped up in that one. And so then what happens? You get that perfectionism in you, and you strive to be like Sean, your brother or your sister, because that's what everybody outside of you thinks that you should be. And what happens? You fail because you're trying to live up to someone else's expectations. And it hurts when you fall from glory, too, because then you have mental health issues. You get depressed. You have anxiety. You break. You got to take a break from work because you just can't hear one more person give you some constructive criticism. Man, everything I'm doing is wrong. So you really have to learn to separate that from who you truly are. And last but not least, I mentioned it earlier, is trauma. Unresolved trauma will get us every time. You may not realize that there was trauma when you were growing up because that's just the way it is. Yeah, I was 8 years old and I was a latchkey kid. Okay, I was scared. You know, the neighbor would knock on the door and beat on the door. And what did your parents tell you? Don't open that door. Beating on the door. You scaredy cat. You locked in the house. Imprisoned. Nowhere to go but scared because you're 8. And no one gave you a narrative. And then if you tried to tell your parents, they were just like, well, you'll be all right. You in the house, right? I'm 8. I don't know if they can get in or not. So things that you need to think about is those traumas, if they're unresolved. If they're not, you need to talk to somebody about them. Because that's some of the stuff that's hiding behind your mask, or that representative that you send in to date, or when you go home to your wife or husband. That's the representative that you put on. How was work today, babe? Fine. Fine. I'm okay. And just like Maya Angelou, you know, that looks like a crazy person, right? Like, what is wrong with them? We do it all the time. How many people in here, if I ask you how you're doing, is going to say fine? Is it true? No, it's not always true. And we're going to figure out, you know, there's times that, it's okay to not be okay. All right? So we're going to move on. So, in order to do that, I'm sure you guys can't really see that, but it's small on there, and I'm going to read it to you. We have to set life goals. So your state of self is innately set up just like we talked about. But this page right here, and I can make sure that you guys get it if you would like it, it has categories. So family, friends, work, school, spirituality, body, and mental health. And so in the columns, one of them is, what am I doing well? So you think about, what am I doing well? So in your family, as it goes with your family, think about what you're doing well. What's going well in your families? Give me some good news. What's something awesome that's going on with some of your families? Anybody got something good? Y'all go, you do? Really? Okay, she said that they all get along. Okay? That's amazing because you know that sometimes people don't get along, but they come together anyway because it's a habit. Oh, you dragging me over here to this barbecue again. I don't want to. But you're coming. And you don't get along, and somebody sits in the corner or doesn't pay attention. So their family gets along. What's something else good that's happening in your family? Your immediate family. Okay, you tell me.
I got my family, my wife, my children.
Okay.
Then I have my family. Those other folks.
Yes. Okay. A better choice of words. Who you're related to biologically, by marriage. Okay.
That's why.
Either way, tell me. Well, how's it going with your smaller circle?
Communicate all the time.
Okay. Okay. Communicating all the time. That's good. That's a start.
Because they're in school.
Okay.
So we're good.
All right. So somebody's reaching out to somebody. Does anybody do group texts with their families? Yeah. And, and I asked that too, not to be funny or to get in your business, but the pandemic, we still up in here. And when they shut down the world, those times that we would have barbecue, go to the games, at somebody's house and watch sports, though we wasn't doing that. Now, some of us were doing that, but, you may not should have been doing it. And then you learn quickly that somebody got COVID, so we shouldn't do it. But they do anyway. So you guys have been in lockdown. So how did you have a group text? You did video conferencing with them. You had to make things work. And that was a good thing. Did you use video conferencing with your family sometimes too? Yeah. And those that are far away, you make sure you have to do it. And I like that that's intention. I'm going to keep my family together. So even though we may not get along all the time, and I know this one's going to be doing this, it's okay. I can see their face and know that they're okay. That's good. Thank you guys for sharing. Anybody else have some good family stuff going on? Okay. Growing and expanding. That's a blessing. So marriage or childbirth or yes, that's always great. I love babies. That's where I love them. They smell so good. And then after about 3 years old, I'm done. It's like, oh, you're so cute. Okay, go back to your mama. Yeah. But yes, it's glorious, and congratulations for that. So the next column is where I need improvement. So let's stay with the family. Where do you need improvement? Anyone? What would you like to see more of in your family? Yes, sir. Oh, you're going to just go ahead and go on right in there. We need to do, forgiveness for past traumas, environments that you grew up in, not talking to your mama or daddy not talking to sisters and brothers because. And if the pandemic hasn't taught us something, you guys, life is too short for all that. I mean, really, and right now, tomorrow is not even promised. That's a figment of our imagination right now. We are sitting here. We don't know who or what call we're going to get. Yeah, that's reality right there. And isn't it time to forgive? And also, if you're not talking to these people, forgiveness is not for them. It's for who? It's for me. I need a peace of mind. And hopefully I'm going to pray that you get yours. Because I got mine. Now I know it might be hard or awkward in the very beginning to talk to them, because you're like, oh, take me there, Lord. Let me get there and get to that peace. But once again, you have to remember, tomorrow is a figment of our imaginations until we get there. So what does it cost to you for a little peace? And nothing. I don't think it costs forgiveness. Does it cost anything? Because it was already been paid for us right here. So we don't have to pay anything for it. You have to balance it out, guys. What is it worth to you? Your peace of mind to forgive this person. And that's not saying that that it's not wrong. Sometimes it may have been illegal. Maybe people have stole from you and still walk around like they're your best friend. I've seen it. I have my family. We have families. Everybody has a family. You have that one cousin that always asking for money. Get out of my phone. That's a boundary, and it's okay. But when you see him again, you call and check on him. How you doing? How you doing, cousin? Haven't seen you in a while. That's forgiveness. Took me for $10,000. What? But I still love you. It's okay because God blessed me with double that now. It didn't hurt me. So what's that cost for you? Next, last column, my goals. So that forgiveness that you want to do, that you need improvement with, I'm going to work on forgiveness. How do I do that? Talk to Bishop. Talk to a therapist. Talk to that person if that's required or if you think you can do that. But you got to get your hands dirty. You're going to have to get in there and really take ownership. That's the state of you. Because if you're not okay, you got to find out how to be okay. And that's the way of doing it. Thank you guys for sharing that, for sure. Another way is a regret letter. I really like this one. This kind of goes back to some regression, and I do regression therapy with couples, individuals, and groups, kind of like I took you back in childhood. But you write a letter to your younger self, and it's really kind of, good and expressive where you can kind of just get it out. And you want to know what you wish you had known. So describe any regrets in your life that you may have had to your younger self. So say, for instance, you didn't get to go to that D1 college because you got pregnant. Okay? You had to start a family. Your girlfriend got pregnant. You decided to stay at a junior college. Some people think that's a regret. I regret that I didn't go there. So you write that in your list, or just a letter, and then you write that to your younger self, and then you forgive yourself for mistakes or hurts that you may have caused. Here's that word forgiveness again. Forgive yourself for any hurts that you may have caused. And you may not know that, but then that's where, you pray about if I have caused. Because some people don't tell you that they've been hurt. Because from whatever's going on with them, they don't think that they should. So you have to take that onto yourself and ask, okay, you know what? I don't know if I have, I'm sure that I was out there in them streets. I probably hurt somebody's feelings and said something crazy. So I have to say, please, I just need forgiveness for this. And guess what? It's given. Boom. You don't have to pay nothing. No cash out, nothing. You just get it. Get your life. And then apologize for any opportunities that you let pass by from fear of trying to live up to someone else's expectations. Let me read that again. Apologize for any opportunities that you let pass by from fear or trying to live up to someone else's expectations. I remember that one of my cousins, she got pregnant at a young age, and my aunt made her get married. She did. She tried to fight it, but they made them get married. And she carries that around. And they ended up in divorce, of course, because they were young. And, forgiving the parents for that, forgiving yourself for saying it's okay. I mean, you could have kicked and screamed because they can't make you sign on the dotted line. Doing more, advocating for yourself, apologizing, forgiving. That's traumatic. I mean, she was only 16. She was forced to get married. I mean, I know that in other cultures that they do that, it's okay. But I think if you didn't choose to be in that situation, it's going to be traumatic. And so, like in this regret letter, forgiving yourself for not being an advocate for yourself and just allowing life to happen. State of self. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you, at that point in your life, allowed yourself to get married and you did not want to do it, and you knew it didn't feel right within your soul, you're going to do that again because you're like, fighting is futile. But that's not true. So that's why it's so important to tap into self. State of yourself. What is it? You have to get past it. And so the regret letter is one of the things that I like to use. You write it, you read it, and it gives you some empowerment too. Taking that power back is like, you know what? Little 16-year-old, it's okay. You're going to be all right. Look how the universe and God conspired for you. He saved you. He saved you. Because along with that, my cousin became depressed. Postpartum was like off the chain. So she had to get help. She was not equipped to be anybody's mom or anybody's wife. She didn't even know how to be her 16-year-old self. So she had to learn. So I encourage you to do something of the kind, putting it out there. All Right. And that's also, and I just reminded myself, is also when you have children and you're getting mad and frustrated with them about doing XYZ you said. Remember those regrets in your regret letter. Let me back up. This is their journey. Let me just be supportive. They got to figure it out. Because I know how I felt when I was told or made to do something. It was not fun. And it has repercussions, ripple effect. So it's twofold for you and for the next generation. Focus energy within. Whoop, whoop. I love this one. I got this one from Jay Shetty, the book Think Like a Monk, and it's called Time. So to generate energy within, you have to totally isolate you and what your body needs. So I like it because you start the day with being thankful and grateful. Like I said, tomorrow is a figment of our imagination. But when you do get there, wake up, hey, look at that. I see the sun. I am so thankful that I'm here. What do I get to do today? God, where do you want me to be? Show me how I need to talk to these people. Gratefulness and thankfulness. Start the day with that. Next is insight. Educate yourself, people. We were talking earlier about, taking books away from children so they won't learn about slavery or the Holocaust. And that education, you got to get it. Knowledge is power. So one thing that I really love about military children is because they've traveled everywhere. They have this eclectic sense of being. They don't have just this one cookie cutter ideal of life. I like that. I think that's really good. And as long as you guys are stable and in a good microcosm, those children will be fine. Because people are like, oh, you got to have stability. Okay, that's true. But we have it within our home. Just because we have to move every couple of years. But I think that is empowering for children to know that, hey, you got to know where you came from. One of the things that I said is connectedness. We got to have it. You got to have a connection. If you're not with your family and you're across the sea, you better find some connected people that are like-minded. You need it. It's a sense of community. There was a lot of military people in here. A lot traveled, right? What did you guys do? Did you guys find a community when you guys were there? Yeah. You create one yourself. And it has all kinds of people. So make sure that you are getting your insight. Read personal development books. Listen to podcasts. I read tons of books. I think I read 50 books last year. Pandemic, of course. And then also, and then I listen to audiobooks when I run. And so I just ate it up. And I'm like, wow. My mind expanded. Meditation and prayer. Sometimes you got to get quiet to hear what God has for you. Because you have all this stuff going on in your head. And you're just hearing work. You're hearing your kids yelling at you. You hear your boss. You hear family need. And you got to get quiet to hear your own voice. Meditation, prayer. And last but not least is exercise. You got to move your body. And when I put that word up there, people are like, I hear the air come out of the room. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not saying you need to go out and run a marathon. I mean, you can do Tai Chi. You can do yoga. I mean, I know I have bad knees. So I try not to do anything too pounding. Now, I like to get in there and do those HIIT exercises in CrossFit. Now, my body's like, girl, you 50, don't do that. But, I do it anyway. You got to find what works for you. Move your body. Once you get that momentum going, you're going to be going in the right direction. And just because this is in time, in a nice little, neat little package of time, you can do it at any time. Okay, throughout the day. So you might want to end your day with thankfulness and gratefulness. Because what did you learn throughout the day? Meeting with these new people. Doing your thing at work. Not losing your mind and punching somebody in the throat. Be grateful for that. Because I know people do not always keep that together. So you can do it at any time. Like you can pair them up. Atomic Habits, that's another book I read. So you pair those things together. You go run, you listen to an audiobook, podcast. And so people are like, oh, I don't have time to do that. Oh, but you do. You have plenty of time for that. Once again, what does it cost you? Your peace of mind, or not find enough time to take care of self. And then you'll be seeing me in intensive outpatient because you need a break from work, FMLA paperwork. Okay? We don't want that. Oh, goodness. And then learning emotional intelligence. And I'll try to wrap up here because I know we need to move on. Okay? So learning emotional intelligence, it's being aware, being woke, and remain willing. That's being in awe, okay? So self-aware of life and how it affects you and your relationship. So if you go to work and have a bad day and you bring it home and you don't know what to do with it, everybody in the house is going to get the business. I mean, it happens all the time. It's not intentional. It's just like you stewing over that 45-minute drive in Dallas traffic, which ain't no punk. I mean, and all you need is a helicopter. I need a helicopter to drop me off so I don't have to. But that's what happens. And so you come into the house and you bring it. Your kids didn't take the trash out, the toys everywhere. I just broke my toe on a Lego again. You know, it's all kinds of things. And so everybody's going to get the business. So you have to be self-aware. You have to be able to know where to channel that. If you need to say, ooh, y'all, hold on. Let mama get herself together. I'm going to go take 10 minutes to change out of these clothes, take a shower, or whatever you need to do to get yourself together. Because it's not those children's fault that you had a bad day. It's not your husband's fault either. So make sure that you check yourself. So you got to be able to have that emotional intelligence. Next, being woke. A deeper understanding of how your thinking, feeling, and behavior affects you and your relationship. So all of those actions that I was telling you about, you have to understand where it came from. So just like that state of self, where did that come from? I didn't learn how to talk about my anger. So in the house, it's okay to get angry when I grew up. When I was growing up, arguments ensued all the time. So it's okay to argue in the house. But to me, my philosophy of anger, that's a secondary emotion. Oh, I'm just mad. Okay, about what? About what? You know, so then that means there's something deeper under there. Well, they just passed me over for a job at work. Okay, so that sounds like disrespect. So you get to the root of it. So anger is the secondary part of that. So let's get to the root of it. Okay, so what can we do about it? Did you appeal this interview? What's happening? So you have to figure it out, because when you don't, it just festers and grows. And then, like I said, then it comes out in the inappropriate ways. And it affects your children more especially, because then they don't know how to talk about it. It's more acceptable to see your kids get mad and storm off and roll their eyes, right? Rather than them crying or actually articulating what they need. We weren't taught that. I wasn't. Let's see, let me think, what were my, my go-tos for my parents were, go pray about it. Nothing's wrong with you. You too young. And what was another one that they always used to tell me? Stop crying. Fix your face.
Fix your face.
I didn't have any words, so it was hard out in the streets. You didn't know what you were doing, and so I acted out at school. I was mad all the time, so I was punching kids left and right. They were catching it. It was bad because I was mad. I didn't know why. I mean, there was other words in there. I didn't want to live where they had me. I'd rather stay with my grandparents. And then I was in a very predominantly white neighborhood that liked the N-word. So they were getting the business. I know, violence doesn't solve anything. But I had to learn how to talk. And that was one of the things my mom did empower me with, though. She said, you are too smart. Learn to use your words. learn to use your words. And that stuck with me. And I was a reader then at the time. I used to read Encyclopedia Britannicas. I know that they don't have those anymore. But I had the World set and the Red set. You know, you young people probably don't know what I'm talking about. But that's all we had. We didn't have Google. So I had to read the encyclopedia. And so I was like, okay, you're right, Mom, I'm smart. So I started reading and broadened my mind. And I did learn conflict resolution when I was little because I read it in a book, encyclopedia. You look it up under the seas, conflict resolution. Oh, look at that. I guess I can. So some of those words stick with you. And so you have to be careful and stay woke. And then remain willing. Allowing yourself to be better. Always working on yourself. Every day you show up. That's what awe is, learning your emotional intelligence. Connectedness, we talked about this. A feeling of belonging or having affinity with a particular person or group. Choosing your tribe or family. Having a strong support system helps people overcome challenges more easily. And a state of mental well-being. So find your people. I know that some of you guys are like, nah, I don't like people. Why don't you like people? You don't know? Yeah. So remember, I told you about our glasses? If they're not clean, we're painting a totally different picture of those people out there. It's our perspective. Yes, sir?
Sometimes the glasses are clean.
What you do about that is a great question, and I love it because that is an opportunity. Windex and everything. No, but that's an opportunity that God has presented you to grow and to learn something about people and humankind, or sheds light on yourself. Sometimes the person that you have the most conflict with is what you have the most common with. Yeah. What did you say?
There's a lady at my job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God. And what you just got to saying, I'm telling her, I'm not lazy like her.
But is it a fear of being lazy or seen as lazy?
No, I'm not lazy.
No, but seen as lazy. You don't want those people at work to see you as lazy, so you're an overachiever, right?
Yeah.
There it is. Perfectionism.
I wish they would move her out the way, but you know.
So I love that because people are like, I don't understand that. I was like, but it's true. Because you have your perfectionism working. I suffered from that big time. And I still do it a lot. I like to overachieve a little bit because that's just me. And I own it. State of self. It's okay. As long as I'm not harming anybody. And so I want you to challenge yourself of allowing yourself to listen to her and judge less. Because she probably is attracted to you in a different, not like sexually or anything like that, but she wants what you have. That light, once again. Jealousy, envy. You don't know. We can't speak from someone else. But I want to challenge you, anybody that has that issue with somebody, lean in. Okay. Say, a prayer to yourself, God, show me what am I needing to see from this? What do I need to learn? How do I need to overcome this? This is giving me the opportunity to be better than what I was yesterday. I'm not going to get mad at this lady because obviously she needs something. God put her in my life for a reason. An opportunity to learn, to be better. So you need to leave that job. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is for you to find out. Okay? You've got to find out what that is. So that state of self, dig in there. Keep asking questions, you guys. When do we stop asking questions? Never. I know that we do it to little ones. Why you keep asking? Why? I have a niece. She's 2. Why? Well, I'm going to go in here and use the bathroom. Why? Because I need to use the bathroom. What are you doing in there? Why? Bathroom, girl. Etta, the bathroom. Okay, can I come? I was like, oh, okay, I guess so. And she's just like, And she's just watching, making sure you wash your hands? And I was like, yes, ma'am, I'm washing my hands. And so never stop asking questions, you guys. And when you see, and foster that in your kids. Keep asking questions, baby. Keep asking questions, because I want to know too. Why is the sky blue? I don't know, but let's find out. Let's go get that Encyclopedia Britannica. No, we can look it up on Google now. You can say, Siri, why is the sky blue? And she'll tell you. So think about that for your kids and the millennials that we have coming through now. It's very different. So getting to the communication, identifying your type of communication. Do you yell? Do you whisper or don't say anything? So the types, they are aggressive communicator, passive communicator, passive-aggressive communicator, or assertive communicator. We hope to be the latter, but it depends on the situation, okay? So aggressive is express that their only needs, wants, and feelings matter. It's all about me. Hey girl, I'm coming by and I'm going to pick up that platter that I gave you last week. Well, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be over there. I'm coming. What you going to do? What you doing? Well, don't do that. Stay there until I get there. That friend will have you waiting all day. She forgot to tell you she was getting her hair done. What? No, ma'am. I am not waiting. But there are people that way. Passive communicator, prioritizing the needs and wants and feelings of others, even at their own detriment. Oh, honey, I'll be right over. No, I'll bring that platter to you. Oh, no. No, where are you going to get your hair done? Plano? Yeah, and I live over here in Saginaw? Yeah, I'm on my way. Girl, stop. I will mail that to you. I will do it. Okay? You don't need all that. Passive. This is my favorite. I do this sometimes. Passive-aggressive communicator. Communicate with body language or a lack of open communication to another person. That is sarcasm. Intelligent meets passive-aggressive. So you're witty. A little smart-assity. That's what my mom called me. Mm-hmm. So it's that passive-aggressive. Ooh, I guess that vacuum must be broke, because I don't know what you guys were doing while I was gone. But, okay, if that's what you said you did, all right, passive-aggressive. Who else knows of a passive-aggressive way or petty behavior that you may do? Anybody want to come up with one? Who else is petty? Yes, sir.
Sometimes she'll say, and we're looking at the same thing. She'll say, "Oh, it's raining right there." Oh, really?
Yes. It's raining out. Who knew? I like for that. Who knew? You mean it rains over here just like over there? Yeah. Anybody else have something that they are a little petty with and passive-aggressive? Nobody? Okay, you don't want to air your dirty laundry? Okay. That's all right, but own it. That's a state of self. Know that you are that way. Like I said, my mom told me all the time, oh, you just, that mouth. Yep. And I was told that as an adult, even being a counselor, even working on myself all the time, oh, you know how to cut, don't you? Yeah, I do. And it's one of those things that just rolls off, especially when you're amongst company of friends and that you're safe with. They'll call me on it, and I'm like, yeah, my bad. And we'll laugh it off, and no harm, no intention, done. But when it comes to those other people that are not so friendly, oh, yeah, I got to watch myself. So own that, you guys. There's nothing wrong with it. We always take it as a negative or a positive. Always. Stop taking yourself so serious. It is what it is. Are we working on it? Are we trying to be better? I don't nearly do it as often as I used to. That was my defense mechanism. I'm not even going to lie. So everything that comes to my head does not have to come out of my mouth. Save it. Save some of that for some of those friends. And last but not least, you guys, what am I bringing to the table? So once you guys have really sat with yourself and went through these paces, you want to know what you're bringing to this relationship table. Okay? And people are like, what do you mean, relationship table? I mean, what are your skill sets? What are your values? Who are you? We've been doing all these questions about who am I, That's what I mean. And so this little self-assessment kind of gives you headers to think about what you're bringing to the table. So that inner circles, that little Venn diagram, is a skill set. So when you are working in a relationship, partnership, dating, and you guys have already identified where you are, what are the skills that you are working with? Sometimes it's, your partner has better skills at something that you do. Sometimes we have to acquiesce to let them do it. It's okay, then, you are better at that than me. You do IT way better than me, so when we get in a pinch, guess who I'm calling? Okay? So what is your skill set? Some people are more financially sound and knows how to do it better. Okay, that's fine. But what if you both have been so independent for so long you don't know how to do that? Have a mediator. Maybe we need to go to a wealth planner. Maybe we need to have that third party to really open up how we should do this. Hopefully your goals are going in the same spot, of growth in your wealth. Where if you want to leave money for your kids, or you like, oh, forget them kids. Or do you want to have something for yourself to buy a camper where you can travel the world? Okay. So you think about it, what are your goals? And so another person, a third party, can help you come up with a plan to do that. And you don't have to be that one where you're going back and forth. Well, I'm better at saving. Well, I'm better at spending. Well, yes, we are. Match made in heaven. So just find somebody that can, help you talk through that. And it's okay. You got to be able to allow yourself to go there. Don't be afraid. All right? You have values. I always like that. Values. So, like we talked about, your intentions over time have changed. Those values can ebb and flow as well. Because what was good for you may not always be good for your kids. And they're going to tell you so. So you have to, your value is, well, there's no sex before marriage. You get a baby. Okay, well, I still believe that, but okay, so then what are we doing now? So those values change. So you got to talk about those. I really am big on, we got to go to church every day. That's one of those values that I want. Well, I was kind of an every other Sunday person. Okay, so what does that look like in your family? Talk about it. What does it look like? What do you want to teach your kids? Talk about that too. You got to come together. What are the values? How are we going to teach our kids? Are we going to advocate on the side of our children to empower them to use their words? Especially now, in the way the world is in society now, you've got to talk for real to your kids. You got to get on their level. You might even have to text them. Do a TikTok video to tell them, make sure you are safe. This is the no-no zone. However you need to talk to them. But you have to be direct because they won't get it otherwise. When you can be subtle, like, oh, I don't even think I even got that conversation. If somebody's wants to touch you in your private area, I don't even think I got that conversation. But we have to these days. Where's your private area? This is my cookie. What? What's a cookie? And I know medical people, medically, when doctors and nurses and stuff like that, they're like, tell your children what those body parts are. So I can ask, not your cookie, because, somebody wanted my cookie. What do you mean? And you're like, okay, honey. And you kept on going. No, that happens. Literally, it does. I'm sorry. I've had clients that come in and that their parents, and we don't say vagina. Why not? It's a medical term. Yeah. Tell them what that is. Penis. Tell them what that is. Because otherwise, you hear cookies and you keep on walking, and this child has been touched. So be direct. Find whatever you need to get to your children and talk to them. What do those values look like? Talk about that. How old do you have to have the talk with your brown children? when you start driving or in the street, the world is not so kind. You driving through Saginaw in your new car, and you brown, what do you need to do? When do you start talking to your children about that? That's a part of this. You got to think about it. You got to think ahead. Next is motivation. What are your motivation that motivates you to get up every day? Anybody have any motivations they could just throw out there? Happy to be alive. That's a good one. I'm just happy to be here, and I want to feel it. Feel it. Mine, children. I'm so proud to have my son that's an adult. Empty nester? Yes. I'm so grateful for that. Okay? So, think about those things that motivate you. If you don't know, you need a life coach or a counselor. Okay? So life coaching, that's a nicer term to use rather than therapy. I had to go see my psychotherapist today. Oh, I visited with my life coach? Look at that. How does it sound so much better, right? Crazy versus not crazy, which is wrong. We're the same thing. Now, life coaches you do need to check out. Look at their licensure. Most life coaches are not licensed. They're certified. There's a difference. Oh, where did you go to school? Do you have a master's? No. I'm a certified life coach. What's that mean? You go to school? No. I went to a 2-day seminar to become a life coach. Okay? So, if you want life coaching, okay. If you want a therapist, go to a therapist that's licensed and credentialed. And you can look that up. Okay? So, I like life coaches because they serve that purpose. And hopefully, if there are life coaches, that they know when they are out of their lane. Okay? Because they don't have any regulations that they have to follow, guys. None. Zero. So they could cause harm. So if you have something traumatic that's going on and they keep picking away at it, that could cause more harm than good. So just be careful with yourself. All right? Any questions? And you guys can see this, and I know that some of you guys are taking pictures of this, and please do. Any questions, comments? Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm done for this session. Thank you, guys.
Session, right? Come on. Honey.
I do want to say if you do have questions before we split into our break off, let's all come back so that Christie, if you have anything, you can answer those. Okay? So if you want to go to snack, I guess, or break or whatever, if you have something, put it on there, and then she can answer them before we do our break off.
Okay, are we taking a break now? Is that what we're doing? Let me ask this. Does anyone have any questions so that we'll know? Or put them on the board. Okay. All right, so at this time, we'll take a break, and then we go to our separate sessions, right? You want everybody to come back? But I'm trying to expedite it in terms of. Okay, let's take a break.
Wanna feel your fire burn within. Let your healing waters wash my sins. Meet me at the place where my strength ends. Lord, I want the real, I can't pretend. I want you to know that I'm down at the bottom. I want you to feel me. Take me back to the garden. 'Cause I'm out here hungry. It feels like I'm starving for more of you. I want more of you. I need more of you. Pray you guide me through. I will hide in you. I want more of you. I need more of you. Pray you guide me through. I wanna feel your fire. Help me burn again. I wanna feel your spirit. Help me breathe again. I need a touch from you right now. You brought me this far, so bring me out. Let it burn so bright, like a million lights in the sky, so bright, like 1,000 cries in the night, so loud for you, so loud for you, you and only you. I just want to feel your touch again. Feel you closer, Lord, than my own skin. Take me back to the place where we began. Receive me, Jesus, help me breathe again. Can't be too busy to feel your love, can't miss this moment. So I gaze above, can't be too loud that I can't hear your voice. I'll be intentional. Yeah, this is my choice. I want more of you. I need more of you. Pray you guide me through. I will hide in you. I want more of you. I need more of you. Pray you guide me through. I wanna feel your fire. Help me burn again. I wanna feel your spirit. Help me breathe again. I need a touch from you right now. You brought me this far, so bring me out. Let it burn so bright, like a million lights in the sky, so bright, like 1,000 cries in the night, so loud for you, so loud for you. I'ma keep waiting on you till you touch me. Yes, I'ma keep waiting on you till you answer my prayers. Yes, I'ma keep waiting on you till you touch me. Yes, I'ma keep waiting on you. I'ma keep waiting on you. I'm waiting. Yes, I'ma keep waiting on you. I'm waiting. I'ma keep waiting on you. I'm waiting. I'ma keep waiting on you. I'm waiting till you touch me, Lord. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. your glory. Oh, the earth is filled with your glory. Hey. Really, if you sing it with us, say angels. They bow before you. Heaven and earth adore you. You're the mighty God we serve. You're the mighty God. Oh, you're the mighty God. 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 You are faithful. Mighty God. You are true. The mighty God. We are so in.
back yet. All right, so we do have a question on the board. We're going to ask Christia to come and answer that question. And so immediately following that, we're going to do our breakout sessions where the married couples will remain here in the sanctuary, and the singles will head to the fellowship hall. Just simply go out to this door and then to the sanctuary. I would say that we do not allow anything in the sanctuary but water, no food and such, because we have light coffee and, light stained carpet, and obviously you know what happens if that happens. So if you would, please. Oh, you got yours.
All right, good to see y'all back. Hopefully everybody feels relieved and everything. So what advice would you give to men who are uncomfortable talking about things they deal with because of how they were raised? Good question, my brothers and sisters. What the real deal is, you can't force someone to get help if they're not ready. You can't. So hopefully through talks like this and open forums to talk about things, this gives you that empowerment to when you're ready to talk about it, you know where to go. And it's okay. One of the things is it's a fear. Okay, a fear of talking about things because they feel that it's going to bring things back up. I'm going to feel worse, but your body never forgets. So if you had an unpleasant childhood, sometimes smells make you feel uncomfortable, and you don't know why. You're like, oh, I hate that smell of chitlins. Because every time we had a family gathering, it was going to be a fight. Or cologne that someone wore. Songs. All of your senses get involved when that happens. And sometimes it's unpleasant for people to relive those experiences. Now, they don't go away. You can try to put them in a box, a Pandora's box, all you want to. But they don't go away because your body doesn't forget. And then you say to yourself diligently, I am not going to be that way. Unfortunately, you find your way to be that way. So say, for instance, you go through some traumatic stuff in your life, and your parents left you. And it seemed like everyone in your life would leave you. Something would happen to them. You don't have any control over that. And in the next session, actually, we're going to talk about control. And you have no control over that. You do have control over how you feel about the situation. And it sounds like if it's so unbearable, about how you were raised, talking about it won't help. Like I shared with you guys some of the dialogue that I got from parents about, my questions. It's like, oh, go pray about it. It'll be okay. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You're too young to have problems. I got problems. I got bills. Right? Did that help you feel better when you were young? Not at all. What you needed was to be heard and validated. So if you don't fix it now, you're going to be destined to continue to repeat it and attracting that type of energy too. So people around you will be going through those things, and you'll be like, oh, dang, I can't get away from this, because it's an opportunity to grow, to learn something about yourself. So until you're ready to step out on faith that there is a better purpose for that, you're going to still be stuck in that box, and growth is going to be hard. You're not going to be able to be better than you were. So I encourage you to even talk a little bit about it, and I know that there's a stigma in our culture that, oh, you can't talk to nobody about that. Why not? What's going to happen? It already happened, and there's no erasing. It doesn't go away. One of the quotes that I had learned is, forgiveness is giving up all hope of a better past. Let that marinate a little bit. Forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past. So that means you can't fix that. But I can be better. I can learn from it. Because you can fight it all day, all night, that you had better parents or you had a better marriage before? Did it stop that from happening with you worrying about it or obsessing about it or trying to shut it out? Nope, it still happens and it pops up in your behavior with others, the way you treat your children. So you can't run from it. So until you're ready. So hopefully that answered somebody's question. All right. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So if you have questions, get them out there because more than likely you're not the only one with that question. So that was an outstanding question. Okay, it is breakout session now. So if you're single, please adjourn yourselves. Give the Lord a hand praise for our singles, amen. You can now go to the fellowship hall, and we're getting ready to start our married couples session. So, yeah, married, dating, yeah, couples. Okay, and so this series, Christie is going to come and talk to our married couples. And the title of this session is Who Told You It Was Going to Be Easy? The season of confrontation. So we're going to talk or listen and learn about confrontation. So, all right, Christia, at your leisure. All the singles. No, don't say that. Okay.
Everybody feeling good? Everybody okay? All right. Do y'all want these tablets and phones up here? Okay, y'all might need them. Somebody might want to use it. Might want to call somebody. All right. Sorry, guys, I'm having a personal summer up here. All right, starting off, season of confrontation. As you guys can tell, I like to just shoot from the hip and get right into it, and I'm going to tell the truth. I don't think sugarcoating anything makes anything easier. So we might as well just rip that Band-Aid off, because all it does is, prolong the hurt, the inevitable. So it's going to land however that bomb is going to land. And it's all in how you present it as well. So this section is trying to be proactive with your marriage. So that doesn't necessarily mean that this is for before you get married. I always suggest that you guys check in. When's the last time you checked in with your partner? Like, how you doing, baby? What's work like for you? How's your career going? Are you where you want to be? How long has it been since y'all done that? Anybody? Oh, nobody? Y'all don't check in? Okay. You got one? Okay, tell me how y'all do it. Do y'all date night it? Do y'all just sit at the house and chill with no kids? What's happening? Yeah, that's good. And, depending on how people communicate, it's okay, and hopefully empower, your partner that this is a safe space. And I know sometimes it's scary to talk about, what's going on, in your life, or career or with extra family of, finding out that you have to try to help, a family member. You want to talk about finances, because you just don't want to relive it again because you don't think it's going to do anything. But sometimes you need to get that off your chest, and it feels better to share the load. So if we were trying to carry this somewhere, is it going to be easier for two of us to carry it or one? Same thing with an issue. You got to get your partner in on it, okay? So that's why it's so important to check in with your partner and see how they're doing, okay? And that is probably the most proactive thing that you can do. So, the first thing, preparing your marriage for success, is assess and evaluate your challenges, agree or disagree to give 100% effort to resolve the challenges. Yes, I said disagree. You can disagree all the time. It's what you want to do with it. And in this particular moment of giving 100% effort, if you guys are not seeing eye to eye and it has been consistently coming up round and round, you can amicably say, yeah, I think I'm done trying. You can say that. But as we learned in State of Self, you got to check in with yourself. Are you coming from a place of fear? Are you coming from a place of, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to quit this? What is it? You have to check in with yourself first. Then you extend it to your partner. Then you extend it to your family. Then you extend it to your external family, and the list goes on. So you know how in the chain of command of work, there's a chain of command in your relationship. Starts with you two. You guys are the ones who chose to get married. Everything else, incidental. So you having children, they didn't ask to get married, for you guys to get married and bring them here. They did not ask that. Y'all brought them into it. Your in-laws didn't ask, not unless it was arranged marriage. And then it extends on. So you guys get to agree or disagree to put in 100%. And so then you, as an individual, have a choice to make. Okay, so you mean you're not going to work on this with me? That's thinking points right there. Then what are we doing? And then last, confront the pink elephant in the room. How many people in here are good at sweeping things under the rug? What was that? Huh? Oh, yeah. Own it. Sweep it on under there. You didn't see nothing? What? You want to know what? Oh, we got people coming over. No, we're going to act right. That didn't get rid of the problem, right? It does not. So let's go ahead. I want to give you guys some statistics, okay? There's some good statistics, of course, because the last time that I had statistics, which was 2 years ago, some new statistics, it was from 2015-ish. Now, this is a little bit newer because the statistics came out. So the current divorce rate in the U.S. is 2.9 persons per 1,000 people. Okay? So if you know 1,000 people, 2.9, let's just round up, 3 people. 3 couples have dissolved their marriage. Okay? That's really not bad because the next is overall rate of divorce in America is falling. Okay, you want to know why? Those millennials. Yeah, they're not getting married. They're not getting married. Millennials are not getting married. They'll cohabitate, but they're not going to get married.
So it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. Yep, it's how you look at it. So that's why it's going down. Divorces amongst people age 50 plus years is rising. So my age people are getting a divorce. Because we've already probably been married since we've been in high school. We have some double digits on those years together. We're finding out that we didn't do it the right way. We did it for the wrong reasons or other people's reasons, and it just didn't work out. Okay? And it happens. Let's own it. All right? I was impulsive. I did what I thought was necessary at the time. I thought I was in love. You probably were. You don't just fall in love once. It happens daily. When you wake up in the morning, you should fall in love with that sunrise. Love is infinite, you guys. Did y'all know that? That's why they have that infinity symbol for love. It doesn't just stop and go with just the people right here or these people right here and then the next row and the next row. It's infinite. It's not just reserved for one person. It's everybody. So you felt like you were in love. You probably were. But life happens. Challenges happen. And you find out the true character of your partner that you're in a relationship with. Some people sweep things under the rug, and you're the person that's going out there and it's like, well, let's tackle this. Let's tackle this together. No, I don't want to do that. That's something wrong with this. Out of fear. So that's why you got to make sure that you have yourself together. And is it okay that you fall out of love? It is. Now, you still love that person, hopefully, and y'all didn't take it to a toxic space. But then hopefully we're going to be more self-aware. Next is fewer couples choose to marry than pre-1990. So there's lots of people that are just cohabitating. Or not even cohabitating. They have their own place. I have some couples that live separate and completely okay with it. They travel with couples. They have defined it as exclusive. They're the millennials. They're young. They're 20s. That's what they're calling it. So, and they're perfectly okay with it. There are currently over 750,000 divorces in the U.S. each year. So that sounds like a lot, and thinking about where it is, but it seems like the trend is about the same from year to year, okay, or 10 years. Most Americans who file for divorce do so between January and March. And what the thought of it is after the holidays. Challenges. So whether it's the challenge between you two or that next tier of family that got you, people are out like, yeah, this is not it. And it's sad to say because that's where sides get drawn. Well, this is my family. They love me, so they're going to be in my house every week. Okay, you got a husband. And like I said, there's a hierarchy to this. You two, then the extended family, and it goes on. And once again, checking in, state of self. If you don't know what kind of family environment that you want to have, it's definitely going to be hard to explain it to your partner. Oh, yeah, me and my family, every day, 365, we're going to talk. Is that okay for you guys? Y'all do you guys have a partner that talks to a family member every day, all day? Anybody have that experience? Yeah. No, but sometimes they talk to them a lot, and you're like, well, dang. We were here in the middle of date night, and you going to take a call from your mama? Is she okay, and she's in the hospital? No, she's not. Oh, she just wanted to talk about her new closet? Okay. You get to define what that looks like. Is that okay for you? So you got to talk about it, all right? And then, like I said, millennials are more cautious about getting married. So just know that. Your kids are making good decisions. Okay, so back to working on it. Oh, question.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly. Okay, go ahead.
So I saw some of the same stats that you looked at. And so I read that, there was a stat out there that says over, approximately 50% of all marriages end in divorce. Mm-hmm. But then they said that was a fallacy.
Yes, what happens is like when they take these studies, they don't poll just everybody. It's like because it comes with a status. So when was our last status check-in? 5 years ago? Is that right?
2016.
Something like that. It's about 2 or 3 years ago. And so 50%, some people don't divorce. They separate. Does that make sense? So that's why it looks wonky. So the people who are actually going to file for divorce is what they're seeing, not people that are separated. So it's actually higher, because, people that of minorities, we are the ones who do not. Because that means you're in Texas. What happens? If you've been together for a while, you get 50-50. If you just amicably split, you don't have to. Okay? It's cheaper to keep them. Is that what you said? That's what happens. So that's why the numbers look wonky. But it is slightly higher because separation is a little bit different category. So they don't put that on there. It's just like, are you married, divorced, either one. So, Ann, did you have that same question?
No, I didn't have the same question, and I don't want to belabor it, but to bring some accuracy to that, I was just wondering if there was a statistic
Yes.
That divorce rate look like?
Yes, and that's a good question, because I think I read it somewhere that, some of those are not as accurate, because, we have common law, so your common law may be different from my common law. It's like we've been together for 5 years, and then legally, where is that drawing the line? I think it has to, as long as you're getting mail here at this location, and you have to start establishing that. So it's a lot. So I think those get lost in the wash, to be more accurate. And so all they can do is, like, it's a yes box or no box. And that's kind of all that you get from statistics. It doesn't say that the people that are common law or don't report or stay together and then this, they don't get into that in the stats. So we just have to presume of what the trends are and what the stats say for that county or for the state. Okay? So next, we're going to assess and evaluate the challenges. So I came up with this myself because I do work with a lot of couples, and also through content that I get from you guys and any other workshops that I do, they come to me with these issues. And so these are the challenges that happen in marriages. So the first one is finances. We were just talking about that. So finances are a big one. It's a kicker for couples to work with. So what happens is, if you're independent, you have your own money, or you don't have your own money, and you want to marry somebody that has some money, so you can feel safe and secure. Okay, that doesn't mean you're good with money, and then so you meet somebody that's good with money, but doesn't necessarily mean that you're okay with that. So it's a mixed bag of tricks, and if you don't talk about it and you just keep it the same way, you're going to have issues. You should have finance meetings. Like I said, get a third party involved if you need to come up with a plan for you. Come up with a budget, okay? The next one is communication, and we're going to get into that, how to communicate better. Some people feel invalidated in their marriage. They don't feel heard. They have their passive-aggressive ways of communicating, their aggressive ways of communicating, the passive ways of communicating. So that is an issue. You guys miscommunicate all the time. I said this, but this was carried out. It's a lot. So we're going to work on how to work through that. Sex, and who it's with. In the marriage, outside of the marriage, okay? The real talk. So it could be infidelity also. So sex between you guys, you don't know how to talk about it. You don't know how to broach the subject. As we age, sex becomes an issue. We have hormone things that happen, okay, men and women. And if you don't talk about it and make it a safe space to talk about it, there's going to be issues, okay? So we evolve. We're not going to get into that one, but that is a big one. And the top 4 is unhealed and unidentified trauma. So like it was asked about, a person that is not quite ready to just talk about their past or the traumas that they went through. That might be an issue. Okay, so got to think about that, and we will talk a little bit about that today. Trust. Do you trust your partner with your heart, with your dreams, with your children? Because some people don't trust their partner with their kids, because all they're going to do is be running around the house because they ate up all the sugar in the world and watching whatever they want. You come home and it's chaos. So you don't trust that partner to do that. So you have to talk about that. Okay? Religion and politics. Like I kind of brought that up. Somebody said, eek. Who's going to go to church on every Sunday? Who's going to go every week? Do I even want to go to church? Do I even believe in God? We got to figure that out. How's that going to work? It can, but you got to talk about it. It's not just going to go away. You just can't just sweep it under the rug. It's got to be talked about. Politics, Republican versus Democrat, liberal, whatever. You guys got to know what's happening. If you're not very political, which I'm not very political, but I'm finding that I know I need to start voting more on the primaries and on my local level, because, it affects things that are happening. Not only as a person and a human being that's black and a female, but also about my rights. And so I need to, start looking at that. in my 20s, see, this is a value change. So that wasn't a value of mine in my 20s. I don't even think I voted in my 20s. I think one time. I wasn't even thinking about it. But now it means something to me because my business is being affected, by who's in office. So you have to think about that. Childbearing and rearing. Who wants kids? Who doesn't want kids? And then if you have kids, how many, right? And if you have kids, from external relationships, how do you raise those? Are y'all a family or you're not a family? You don't tell my child nothing, I don't tell your child nothing. Yikes. Oops, I know a lot of air came out of the room. It's okay. Blended families. Yeah, that's a tough one. But you have to be on the same page with that. Because that can wreck a household. Because if the children know they have the power, you have none. They will say it for the people in the back. That's right. They will. They will get you. And yeah, like we're going to talk about that. That's real. This is the challenges, y'all. This is real life. This is not a game. This is you trying to survive. We're trying to survive here. And they will take us out. Those children in blended families. And your families. Okay? So that's why it's so important to be 100% your own person so you can come into a relationship and all these things you'll be like, oh, yeah, sure, baby, we got this. Yep, check. Check. But it doesn't stop those family members or those children that you birthed out of your body to want to, come in an uproar. I don't like him. He not my daddy. Oh, no. It happened. Yeah, they be wearing their teeth on the outside of their mouth. Yep. So you guys get to talk about it. And jumping into the relatives and friends. We talked about that. Your circle of friends may change. Not everybody can go, y'all. If you're trying to elevate your life, some of those people got to stay where they at. I think about it in these terms because I always think of I'm a big West Coast family, LBC, Ice Cube, all them fan. I swear I grew up, okay? I'm just going to say it. And so to me, it's like that, that those family, and they were family at the time. Oh, somebody got some money. What happened? What happened? And then they start beefing. And then you have to make the executive decision of, do I stay with them out of obligation, or do I move on up and evolve and do better and then try to help others? And you can see the disparaging stuff that goes on that's happened as these men, because they're my age now, we're a little bit older. But that's what happens. So you have to think about that too. If you're trying to evolve in your life, in your relationship, you have to really consider your circle of friends. Those friends that are not for you. Okay, let's be honest. If your circle of friends are not there to uplift you and to help you be better, you're not in a circle, you're in a cage. So you have to decide whether you're going to evolve or stay where you're at. That is up to you. But make sure you share it with your partner. Okay? And that's compliments of Nipsey Hussle. Come on through. Yeah, I listen to some hip hop. So you got to be able to, talk about things like that. All right? Career. What are your career goals? You get in a relationship, y'all are doing good. Guess what? Oh, I got a new job. We're moving to New York. So you took the job? We've been married for 5 years. I'm pregnant. I work too. I have a whole job, whole career. It's not part-time. I am not a greeter at Walmart. I can't just get a job anywhere. I am this job, my career. You got to talk about those things. And if you don't consider your family, your family's really going to consider you for the job. Oh, you're just making this decision without me? I mean, well, honey, I'm going to be making X amount of dollars and we can have coast-to-coast family. But is that what we signed up for? State of self, you got to know what you're about. And then when you introduce people to your life, career has to be a conversation. Especially, like I'm telling you again, millennials are trying to figure this out. They're not trying to jump in. They want their career. They want all the coins. And so they are not trying to hear, oh, you want what? Oh, no, buddy. Not moving to the country. I work in the building downtown, the AT&T building. That's where I work. I'm not for that. So you have to be prepared for those conversations. And don't take it personal. If you tell your husband or wife that, no, baby, I can't go to New York. We have a ranch, and I'm from Texas. I like my space. So y'all have to figure it out. Don't take it personal, but I thought you loved me. I do. And I might have to love you from afar. And it's okay. But you have to work on it first. You got to work on it. Okay? So next we're moving on to giving your consent. So when you guys start working through these challenges, this is a check-in. You got to do this on a regular. This isn't just today, and then I'll see y'all next year. I would like you guys to check in like monthly. And if you are looking at your partner and you see the stress, furrowed brow, extra gray hair, some extra lines, you might want to check in a little bit sooner. You know, I think about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, because when he went to the White House, he was young, had a pimp stroll. Yeah. He was going, wasn't he? You were like, yeah, I was like, yeah, that's my president. I like that swag. And, you know, Michelle is, you know, as graceful as she is. Boy, he walked out that White House like, oh, Jesus, thank you. And he was gray. His hair was so gray. And I know he served, you know, 2 terms consecutively, but still, that man got old real fast. And I was like, dang, they do you like that in the White House? It's just crazy. So, you know, you get to decide on how that's going to look. All right? So, giving your consent, agree to work through the issue. Always search for that personal development. Always try to be better. Be open to change. There is not just one answer. There is not just one answer. And I know that goes against all that, you know, we were built on. That's all, you know, I promise. My parents would tell me otherwise. My mama would have sat right here and told me otherwise. Well, no, Christy. It's either black or white. Not true. There's lots of different other ways to get to the end of this. And so be open to hear it. It may not be what you want to do, and you don't have to do it, but you have to come together and discuss it. Perspective taking. So if we all witnessed a car accident, there is going to be several different accounts. Every time. And it's not going to be just a right or wrong one. It just depends on which lens that you're looking through. I've been in a wreck. So I'm going to be like, yep, she was in the wrong. She rear-ended that person. Not seeing that there was somebody else that had stopped up here. There was a child running across the road. I missed it. I was just mad at that person that rear-ended them because that was my perspective. And then there's the person that was driving. Why did you stop on your brakes? It was their fault. See, they don't know how to drive. They need to take their license. So there's so many different perspectives. So you have to be open to hear them. So you can make a resolve in your marriage. All right? And if you can't find a resolve, dissolve amicably. So try to go your separate ways with both of your heads being able to be held high. So often we stay in places that no longer serve us because of somebody else's expectation. Oh, yeah. Oh, they've been together they're so cute together. They've been together forever. Oh, they make pretty babies. Oh, my goodness, they're the great pair. When y'all go home, there is chaos. But you're staying together because of your social media. Because y'all look so good in pictures. Because your mama said she liked your wife. That's not a reason to stay together. Not enough. So you have to look at it from your perspective of like, okay, is this serving me? Where are we going with this? How can I work on me to see if this is where I need to be? So you have to be able to be okay with not being okay. And it's none of your business what other people think of you.
So let me ask this question.
Absolutely.
So typically in this situation here, as far as resolve amicably, what is your position in terms of working through a process? And is it abusive that, those abusive situations, what is that?
Okay, good question. Thank you for that too, because that was going to be my next topic actually, is seeing what the process is I'm going to always say, have you checked in with yourself? Is this a safe environment? If it's not, we need to get some help, ASAP. Okay? So I am never going to tell someone that is in a harmful situation to stay. Not going to do it. Even to their own detriment. Unfortunately, sometimes people stay in abusive relationships. And please don't think that it's only the women that are being abused. Please don't think that. It is not true. Women can abuse as well. And so when you see that, you have to decide on which way you want to go, direction. Are you ready to leave? I've had clients that say, oh, no, I got to stay. And so I have a workbook that I work with them, and you look at the pros and the cons. We pull them out. What's working? What's not working? And always, safety is number one. And if you come into my office, and being honest, I have to. I am a mandatory reporter. So if you come into my office and you tell me that you've been abused, or that you have children in a home that they have seen or experienced abuse, I have to say something. And I tell you guys that in the very beginning, whenever you sign anything with me, and we talk about it. Those are the non-negotiables. So it's up to you whether or not you're going to tell me. Usually, people, when they tell me with the expectation, you're going to help me. Because sometimes we don't have the energy to speak up for ourselves. So we need someone to help us. So I will go through a process. Let's look at the pros and the cons. Are you safe right now? Yes or no? Yeah, well, he's moved out. Or she's moved out. I hadn't seen her in a week. Those kind of things. We will go through that. And then from there is basically going back to the state of self. What happened to this relationship? Right? So let's go back and we'll sort through what that looks like. And we'll talk a little bit about codependency, because that's where things get a little toxic, is in that, wanting to hold on to a relationship so much when you need to be gone, because it's not healthy, period. Emotional abuse is just as rancid as physical. Just breaks you down from the inside. Those bruises will heal. This one, a little harder to fix. Thus, when we have our childhood trauma, we still acting it out in our 50s. Still hard. So I do go through those little checklists and making sure safety is there. I never suggest someone to leave a relationship without giving 100%. That was one of the first things I said. You have to go in head first, confront these challenges first. If there's no abuse, that you know of, then I'm like, hey, have we tried everything? Have we tried everything? Have we tried counseling? Have we tried, date nights? Have we tried self-help manuals? Have we tried this? And if you say, yeah, we tried everything, I'm tired. At least y'all agreeing. And then you guys get to decide on how it's going to look. If there's children involved, you definitely want to figure out how it's going to look. And I know that a lot of fears come from that. If you want to dissolve a marriage or a relationship, you get concerned about, what about the children? And that's probably the reason you stayed in a relationship so long. You grew up in a broken home. So you don't want your kid to grow up in a broken home. So, for example, you stay in this marriage, this loveless, lackluster, going nowhere relationship. What model do you think you're setting for your children? Oh, this is marriage. Your young daughter or son see. Oh, so I don't need to be in love? Okay, cool. I can just be in lust? All right, I'm good. I don't have to really love him or her. So, you know, you have to think about what you're portraying because your kids are going to eat it up. And then they'll tell you about it. Well, Daddy never did that for you. And you're like, but wait, I don't want that for my child. Yes, you can. I love it. She said those are one of those generational curses that we can break. You can. It's within you today. You don't have to keep repeating that. It's a choice. And people are like, I had no choice. Oh, that's another thing. On a tangent. I had no choice. That's an excuse. Now, the choice that you're making may not feel good, and your identity might be a little jarred because of your pride, or you feel shameful because your relationship didn't work, but that's on you. You have to do the work, y'all. That's on you. In their 50s, 60s, 70s, I can't wait to get divorced until my kids graduate. What? Your kids already know that y'all are living in separate rooms. I had a 6-year-old told me that. Daddy and Mommy, they stay in separate rooms. So I go downstairs and I play on video games because they don't know. I'm like, what kind of fracking-eckable? But it just cracks me up. So you do have a choice. It's just the consequences that you don't want. And you have to ask yourself, is this because, of my identity? Oh, I hurt my mama's feelings. Okay. Your mama's not in this marriage. She's not the one living with this woman that is, going upside my head when I come in, or she's judging me, or doesn't like my Facebook friends, or accusing me of cheating. So think about that. You always have a choice, you guys. Always. It's just the consequences. Are you ready to live with them? All right? So confronting the challenges. I think we already did. Drop the mic. Let's move on. Drop the mic. I'm done. Oh, so next slide, please. Am I trying to control my partner? So this is where it gets into the codependency, because we think we are wanting that relationship, and we want to make our partner change to see it the way we see it. So like I said, if you guys think about it, how many different ways can y'all think of in your mind to get to downtown Dallas? 3? Anybody else with an extra way to get to downtown Dallas? Nobody? Does anybody go to downtown Dallas? No, never? Okay, Arlington. Anybody been to a Cowboy game? Y'all know where that area is? You can get there a couple of different ways too. All right, does it make it wrong? Sit and enjoy the ride. But sometimes whoever's in that passenger seat thinks they can steer the car from the passenger seat. So that is the codependency. All right, we'll get into it. It'll be clear in a minute. So, am I trying to control my partners? It will sound in the terms of doing for others when they can and should do themselves. Right? I know I've said that. I'm nice. That's just me. I'm just a nice person. Helping others to avoid the negative consequences of their behaviors. So if you have an alcoholic partner, you go pick them up so they don't drive drunk, so they don't lose their license again or their job. Sounds like we're helping. Sounds like a good reason. All right? Making empty threats. I'm leaving you because I don't like the way you treat me. And they're still there, week after week. trying to heal others or change a person, and they don't want to change. Well, I'm trying to help you. That's all I want, is you to get help. But what if I don't want to? I like drinking on the weekends and turning it up. I'm turning it up with my friends, right? They don't want to. Protest behavior. So I'm going to withhold communicating with you, withhold sex. No, I'm talking to you. Passive aggression. In order for them to change their mind to what you want them to do. A little manipulation, maybe? Sometimes we know that we're doing this, sometimes we don't. Okay? Making others responsible for your emotions. So you get so worked up and angry about something that you don't even consider the other person, that they're going through something. And so you're forcing them to begrudgingly come over and console you, when you need to know how to self-soothe. You need to know how to, woosah, let me think this through. But you're expecting someone else to come fix it. Or you're the person that fixes it. So it's a codependency. This is a vicious circle, you guys. Now, let me say one thing. Codependency and how it is written clinically is kind of disparaging. Now, there are some good things about codependency because you know you're in a safe space and you rely on that, right? I try to see the positive in things. So with that, you know your partner's down for you, and so you depend on that. So when, say for instance, that your partner always makes Sunday breakfast, always has, waffles, pancakes, sausage, bacon, eggs with cheese, orange juice, mimosas, whatever they are, and they do it every Sunday to show love, right? Isn't that beautiful and wonderful? Oh, yeah, that's great. So what happens when they miss a Sunday? There's a problem. What's wrong? Did I do something to hurt your feelings? No, I'm tired. I worked a double. I just didn't feel like making. But you take it personal. You make it about you. What did I do? Why are you doing this? I don't think this is going to work. What? Because one time you didn't get breakfast on Sunday morning? You can make breakfast and say, hey, I saw you were tired, boo. So I got up and made you some pancakes. So there's some codependency in there that's good because you're filling their cup. You're trying to, not trying to change their behavior or how they think or how they feel. There's a difference. What is the intention? Remember we talked about intention earlier? What's your intention? I want a wife that's going to be able to cook dinner for me every day when I come home. Say what? Oh, man. You used to have one? I like that. He used to have one. So we change. We evolve, y'all. And you have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with it. I know a lot of the times that we don't want that changed, and that's why we married this person because, I'm gonna marry me a Southern girl. And y'all, I'm talking like that because I'm the Southern girl. A lot of these things that I'm talking about was me, okay? Me growing up. Oh, baby, you need to know how to cook for your man so you can have one. You don't need to be, scuffing up your knees. They too rusty. You're never going to get a husband like that. And so, but that was never me. My mom told me just recently, she was like, I've always seen you as an entrepreneur. And she's like, and you know what? You've always told me that. But yet and still, her intention when I was a little girl is to make me a debutante in a Southern Belle. Isn't that crazy? Yes.
But, I think in those instances, societal norms change.
Yes, sir.
And people change.
Yes.
And so, I think conflicts happen when you have an expectation that this is what I married and this is what I signed up for, and you
There you go. Evolution. That's a simple word for it. Evolution. That's what happens. We evolve. We assimilate. We get better at things. We become more efficient at things. Remember when I was telling you about those Encyclopedia Britannicas? It's in Google right now. Like if I talk loud enough, Siri's going to be like, yes. So, you have to realize life happens, and we have to go with it. And what really is the trigger here that doesn't keep relationships together is because you're refusing, you're resisting. Like you said, you're resisting the change. And it's inevitable. You can't stop. We can't stop these bodies from getting the fat cells from getting bigger. We can't. It just doesn't happen. Our jaws start to sag a little bit. We can't stop it, regardless of what they tell you. On TV, you can do the whatevers and just get some old Vaseline and some CeraVe and wash your face and move on. Thank goodness for melanin. But we do. We are forever changing. And you have to be with a partner that's okay with that. Because otherwise, you're going to have some times where there's going to be some confrontation. And it's not going to feel so great. So, questions. I'm gonna put some questions out there, and I want you guys to just kind of raise your hand if you've done this or said this. I can do it better and more quickly, so I might as well just do it by myself. They aren't making it a priority, so I have to do the legwork for them. They won't do it themselves, so I have to do it instead. There you go. Mm-hmm. If they don't do it, then they'll have to face the consequences. I don't want them to have to deal with that. No? Okay. I want to stop there because that's something that we do with our children. Okay? We want to protect them from hurt and harm, don't we? Hell or high water. It's raining outside and they're new drivers. No, baby girl, let me drive you to work because I don't know. You don't know how to drive in rain. Or will she ever know how if you don't let her? So we try to put a bubble around children and our partners in order to protect them. Because what? We are not focusing on us. Out of fear of losing them. A part of this reading in some of this, it was, I think it was Elizabeth Gilbert. She was writing about her toxic relationship in marriage. And her husband told her, I'm done. I don't want to do this. And she said some of these things. No. We're not doing this. No, What did I do wrong? No, I can fix it. And I know you'll be happy with me. No, let me fix it. And so she did all these things. She got all the self-help books, emailing, and, reading, leaving little love notes in there. And he was done. Let me tell you guys this. When someone tells you they're done, they're done. Okay? And it doesn't have to do with you. Sometimes they just need space to be the better selves that they can be. And we have to learn to want that for them also. We have to be able to step back and see it from their perspective. They had trauma, and you know what? I was pushing. Every day he turned around, I was clicking hey, are you okay? Why didn't you text me? What are you doing? Are you mad at me? Isn't that overwhelming? You're like, whoa. You're like, yeah, who is this woman? Now that wasn't me, but that was Elizabeth Gilbert. So that's very stressful. And especially if you haven't talked about something that's going on, a career change, issues at work, and you haven't shared it with your partner, you haven't checked in, it will look like that because you start shutting down. And then you get 12 texts in a day, and you're just like, oh, my gosh. And you dread going home. We don't want to get there, y'all. So we got to do our part, okay? We really have to know what we're doing. We are all responsible for our own well-being. So stay in touch with friends and family. All right. Where are my state of self, your emotional intelligence? So we talked about that before, is being aware of yourself and your life and how it operates in your relationship. You have your being woke, the deeper understanding of your thinking, feeling, and behaviors, and continually working on yourself within the relationship. There was something else that I wanted to. I missed it, so we're going to continue on. So, marriage conflict resolution. So I did a variation of that on several occasions, but when you're communicating with your partner and there may be a conflict. So those of you that are trying to be different, I want to challenge you guys to try this. So if there's an issue you want to bring to the table, you want to step through some things. First of all, you want to focus on the issue itself, not the person. Okay? Not the person. We're not taking it personal. We are going to sit it out here on Front Street, and this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about the other times that, we were going to have family over. That has passed. Okay? A lot of stuff was said, but we need to stay present here for this next event. We're planning a wedding, for instance, for a scenario. And how's that look? Last wedding, it was a hoot. People went away, yelling and screaming, and it did not work well. So let's excuse that one because it's in the past. But now we have another wedding to plan. So let's talk about that. What does that look like? And stay on topic. Oh, I'm not going to say nothing because you always bring up my mama. So you have to bring everything back because that petty behavior, the negative connotations, the passive aggression will get the most of you. So try to focus on the issue. Next is reflective listening. So when you are talking about to each other about the issue, you want to listen to what their perspective is. Then you listen to it reflectively, meaning you paraphrase what you heard. Okay, so we are going to have a budget of $15,000, and is that crazy? 15,000? I don't know. But, okay, so of $15,000, and then the other side parents are going to contribute $5,000. $5,000, that's all? No. We're going to focus on this. This is what we're doing. I was giving you for context. And so your partner is there to listen. Okay, so we are responsible for that $15,000. So we have a total of $20,000. So you're just paraphrasing what you heard. You're going to keep these emotions at bay and try to be open to hearing what's happening. All right? And then you're going to move into I statements. Okay? So if you are working on something constructively, I feel that maybe we could do this, and this with that money. And then from the other side, I feel that we could do this with money. So then you're able to say, okay, I see where this matches side by side. And then you can come to a resolve. Okay? So you want to be able to see everything and all the options. And you come from an I perspective. And I like to, and so when we get into higher conflict areas, meaning like if there's infidelity or, miscommunication, you want to be clear on what that is. And so I like to give my clients the sentence, I feel, fill in the blank, when you, fill in the blank. I need, fill in the blank. So you're taking ownership of your own feelings. You are being clear on what the fault was that was misconstrued and what you need. That's very clear, right? Now, I know that sometimes people can flip it around and then you get yous in there. So try to eliminate that you thing. Whenever you be doing this, no. I feel left out, unheard, when I don't get the call from you about where you're going to be after 12. Period. I really need you to text me so I know where you are and make sure that you're safe. Period. So very simple, just statements like that. And I know on the insides, our bodies are going crazy, but then that's up to you to figure out what to do with it. Not blast your partner, because it does nothing for this conversation. Okay? And it doesn't make it better. You never get to a resolve. And so then you are trying to work for a resolution. You also want to take a break. So when things start to get heated, defensive mechanisms come up and kick in. That can get real heated. People start hitting below the belt. Somebody needs to be able to say, okay, hold on, time out. This is not productive. We're not even back on our issue. So let's back up. And let's take a time out. But during that time out, you need to be focusing on you and what you needed to say and how you wanted to work through it. Okay? Excuse me. Oh, my. I'll get it before he gets up there. Talking too long. So thinking about those things of taking a break. And it's okay. And I know that some of you guys are like, but what if they don't want to talk until 2 weeks from now? Yeah, that's an issue. That's sweeping it under the rug. Okay? It's prolonging the inevitable. This conversation that needs to be resolved. You know, the hopes, this is one of those things that's codependent. It's like in hopes that they'll forget and then we'll be good again. Right? Oh, she'll forget in a minute. And then we won't have to talk about this anymore. I'm going to go take a drive, you know, and see, taking advantage of us people in menopause. We will forget. You know, we'll get, you were like, where you been? And, you know, he's like, we just had an argument. He's like, oh, my bad. But no, you know, don't let it linger. My recommendation is try not to leave the house if it's really heated, because accidents can happen, okay? And then you have to deal with that. A loss of a loved one or an injured loved one gets you all wrapped up. So I don't recommend that you leave the house. Have a designated safe space for yourself, man cave, a woman's spot out in the bag, she shed, that's the word. Your she shed, you know, whatever it is, go to your she shed, chill out. Think about what you really want to say. But try not to just leave and not tell your partner where you are. That's unsafe. So I just recommend that. But if you do need like a day to think about it, tell your partner, hey, I'm not ready right now. Can we talk about this tomorrow? Yeah, sometimes you might have to actually put it on a calendar. We're going to talk about this tomorrow when you get home. So be intentional about it. All right? And then always remember you're going to try to work to a resolve. Try to get to the end of it. Try to see the best of it, what's for the greater good. All right, next slide is a video.
Strong town. It's a strong town.
You know, a lot of people ask like, "Oh, you know, do you have an uncle? Do you have a brother? Do you have a brother? Do you have somebody, a cousin?" And I go, "Well, no, it's not. I think there are a lot of good men out there in the world, and I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't know that there are a lot of good men and a lot of good women, but they have to want to be married. That's the thing. At the end of the day, they have to want to be in a relationship, and." You know, society at this point has made marriage not look sexy at all, because it just doesn't look fun, and it looks boring, and it looks like a lot of work.
Yeah.
What is it really?
I feel like for me, it's really simple. You know, and it depends how you live your life. It's like self-love for two. And that's how I think about it every day. Anything that I would like do for myself, there's one other human being that I have to make like another serving for, or you know what I mean? And
If I make coffee, then I should
then
make
I'll just
her
make a
coffee.
little more coffee. That's what I think of marriage as. It's like a little more coffee.
Love that because it's spot on. You know, I think that, like I said before, you know, we take stuff so seriously. You know, why don't we think of it as self-love for two? You know, what you do for yourself, why can't we do it for our partner? Make this a little bit more coffee. Is that hard? No. Instead of, you know, just one partner making breakfast all the time, you know, maybe he or she doesn't want help. Maybe they're a chef. They enjoy cooking. It's cathartic for them. That's their therapy, getting in there and whipping up some crepes or something like that. You know, well, maybe can I help? Can I chop something up for you? And just be in each other's space. It's okay. I can tell you for one thing, if you don't like your partner, you can't be with your partner. Do you like them as a person? Do they make you laugh? But if you see yourself, oh, I can't stand him. And I mean, be serious, you know, because I mean, there's times that I've been like, oh, I can't stand you. You're just so silly. Just come on, 13-year-old boy, calm down. And so, you know, you have to be able to say, do I really like my partner? Genuinely. And it does become a lot easier when you stop resisting. It's resistance. What causes all of those, you know, inner dialogues that you have, it's because you're resisting doing it. You have to be able to allow. You know, I was speaking to you earlier about, you know, this person at work just gets under my craw. Okay, instead of running from it and resisting it, lean into it. You know, my partner's upset and they seem like they're in a bad mood. Let me lean in a little bit. Let me listen without judgment. You know, listen more, judge less. But that always means you have to check yourself at the door. Okay? Tips to making marriage easy. Pouring into others is a lot easier when your cup is full. So that means you have to have self-care. You know, take care of yourself, simply. Make sure that you're taking care of your insides as well as your mental health. The things that you used to do, you know, when you were single, you know, on the healthy side, you know, I'll get my nails done and toes done. You know, let me do that. I'd go get a massage. I'd work out for myself. You're doing that for yourself. And it benefits the relationship, too. And being, you know, open to your partner doing the same. In those interests that you have, they should be able to do that. As long as they're not harming themselves or anybody else, it's okay. You know, and I know that there's, things that married people do. You know, married people can't do that anymore. You know, I know that now that an older crowd that I'm hanging with, we call mastermind groups. Okay? They're masterminds. And so what they are doing, these are like-minded individuals that you hang out with. Like I said, your circle of people who you hang around with, if they're not trying to get somewhere and uplift you, assimilate and grow and evolve, then you're not in a circle, you're in a cage. That's why, you know, rename it. Mastermind. We go, you know, every Thursday we have these things, okay? We have a wealth management meeting. We talk about what we're doing. We're starting investing in our communities. That's what we do. You know, they're doing projects in MLK in Dallas. You know, get your coins together. Start investing in real estate over there. That's what those masterminds do. You know, like-minded individuals that we don't just talk about that part. We talk about our real lives. Oh yeah, we went through a rough spell right there. You know, I didn't know what to do, what to think, and so you can get constructive criticism from your friends. Well, bro, you know what? You really out of line. And you're okay with that constructive criticism. Man, now you put it like that, I see it. You need that. You need that sense of what? Community that we were talking about? So instead of you guys going to the club, y'all, you know, do a mastermind group somewhere else at your house. You can have a wind down Wednesday if y'all have to drink, or, you go for a hike and afterwards y'all talk, you get your Bibles out and, or a new book that you read, a book club, whatever it is. Invest in yourselves, guys. The next one is prioritize your SOS. Prioritize your state of self. Next is always check in with your partner. Make it a regular. I mean, I know that you guys may not do it very often, not often enough, like once a month. Just like, hey, it's been a while since I looked into your beautiful brown eyes. What are you doing with yourself? Do you really like this person that you're looking at? I want you guys to do an activity for me. Look at your partner. Really look at them. Silly. He's over there silly, making faces at each other. Look at them. Do you like the person that you're with? Do you like them? Yes. Check in with them just like that. And I like that you guys started talking to each other immediately. See how that was easy? Yes, ma'am.
I think it's like growth when you do that, because if he says, I don't like you right now, then I need to fix whatever it is that he doesn't like. But when I say, I don't like you right now, sometimes they take it as saying you don't love them anymore.
Yes.
I don't
Thank
like
you.
you right now because, whatever space we're in right now, we need to say, why are we in this space if I don't like you right now?
Thank you. Thank you. That is great and well said. It is, acknowledging that. And it's okay to use those words. And let's think of it if you were to say, oh, well, you okay, but, say it. Because he's not going to know, right?
Yeah, I think it helps us. We don't argue. We might get mad at each other. But when we were younger, we've been together 30 years. When we were younger, the younger us, we would just, you said it early, you get mad, and then he leaves. And then you're like, okay, no, you're not leaving.
Hold up. Wait. Yeah, where are you going?
You leave out that door.
Oh, yeah, then those threats. I'm leaving too. You don't mean that.
We had to learn in our early marriage that it's not okay to do that, because now you're sending mixed messages.
Yes.
Are we going to stay together? Are you going to go? Because we both can't do it both
Thank
ways.
you. Thank you for saying that. Then that's another one of those things. That was one of the things I wrote down too. Making those idle threats, and you're not going to follow through. Do you really mean that? And so that's why you always start with you. Prioritize. Do I really mean that? Am I really going anywhere? No, I'm just mad. So say that. I'm just mad right now. I can't believe you did that. Just saying what it is. It's okay. And, I know that sometimes it feels disparaging because you're like, what? You don't like me right now? What did I do? Yeah, hey, let me self-analyze this. What are you saying that happened? Oh, okay. And then perspective.
But I think, even with that, you have to say what the individual did
Yeah.
makes you not like them.
Exactly.
Because, you can get underneath a person's skin all day and don't know you're getting under the skin. And then you got attitude. Then there's this attitude there. You're like, okay, well, what's wrong with you?
Right. It's that passive kind of talking.
And then you get nothing.
Yeah.
Something.
Let it go.
Yeah. That part. But yes, name it. And that kind of gets with the conflict resolution. Well, what happened there? What was going on? And the conflict is, what was the issue? Well, you didn't even consult with me when you did that. And my feelings are hurt. I felt that. My feelings were hurt when you did that, when you made a decision without me. And so you have to be real and specific. You don't beat around the bush. And, and I know this is going to sound really harsh, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's right. You are not responsible for your partner's thoughts, feelings, or actions. You're not. And sometimes you have to be direct on what you need. I really need 5 minutes. Please get out of my face. And if you guys were to be in that good state of self that you've also shared with your partner's going to be like, you know what, you so right. Thank you. I'm going to give you some time. And like, I don't have to give the precursor to my partner when I need a minute. I don't have to say, you know that I'm really blunt. No, I don't have to say, that's tiptoeing. You know who I am. You know that I am going to speak clearly where you understand. I'm going to say, I felt pushed. I felt disregarded. I felt hurt when this happened. And I'm going to need some time. Not all day, but I need some time. And that's it. And if your partner is hearing that, they're going to be like, okay. And making it, it's not about me. She told me what she needed, so it's not about me. So let me give her that space. Let me check in with me. Focus that energy onto me. And let me go and do something constructive with myself. And then, if you are in a good state of self, then you'll be able to come back after this and say, oh, babe, thank you so much for giving me that time to just really think through things. And this is what was going on. This is what I was thinking. I was thinking this, but I know that that's not like you. So I had to really flip it in my mind. Because sometimes it's our perspective, y'all. Our glasses get dirty. And so we have to clean them off. And we have to say, oh, okay. That I saw that totally wrong. Own it. Own that I was wrong about that. It's okay to say it out loud. Babe, I was totally wrong with that. And let me apologize to you for being fussy or withholding. Let me pull back. I'm so sorry. And your partner's going to feel really good about that interaction. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to say what that does.
Well, Christie, I kind of feel like this is an episode from Ayana Fix Your Life.
Yeah. Oh.
It's kind of how the dialogue goes so frequently. But the SOS is very key to following through with all of the ramifications of communication and resolution.
Oh, yeah.
Because until we come to grips, and I know this is for some it's uncomfortable. It's tight. It's looking at each other, thinking it's you. But no, it's me. It's me. Yes. And it's big to stop and recognize that. And I even write these things out like that so that we could really understand the importance of not starting in the middle of the relationship, but starting from an individual perspective.
Yes, ma'am.
So that when you come to that place, it's a little easier. Because most of us were not raised to talk like this.
No. Yeah, I've been told that. I know.
What do you feel?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't talk like that usually. And so being able to do that better comes with me being able to identify what I am feeling myself.
And why?
Yes, and why?
And why.
Yes, I love that.
And so I'm glad you said that because now once you articulate how you feel and why you feel, and I need 5 to 10 minutes, so it gives the other person, an opportunity to go away and say, well, that's not what I intended.
Your
to
intention,
feel.
thank you. Yes.
So when we come back together, because sometimes you can just be in the mix.
Yes.
I got to make sure that's done. Let me just go ahead and take care of this. And if you have a spouse that like to be included in everything, and, toes get stepped on and so on and so forth, and then,
It can get all.
it can get all wired up.
Yep. And I know it's
And
not.
you don't even know it's wired up.
Right. And I thank you definitely spot on, because I know that this way of talking is not what we're used to. Okay, and that's one of the biggest things is, it feels like, if you just sit there and when I said, I feel this when this happens, I need this, y'all were like, oh, ooh. Whoo, she just asking for a lot, It feels uncommon. I mean, let's practice right now. I want everybody out loud to say, I feel blank. You can say something in there if you want to. I feel angry, uncomfortable. Thank you. When this happens, when you leave me out. Yes, sir.
How do you get over the feeling of being vulnerable about how you feel? Because a lot of times we shut down. We don't want nobody to know how we feel. We shut down because if I tell you how I feel, now I'm vulnerable.
Okay.
And what you do with what I just said can give me an opportunity to get shot in the chest.
Okay. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Y'all like that question? You like that question?
That's very true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, vulnerability. How I love how delicious that is, y'all. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I'm that type of person that's going to run right to it. Look, what is this about? What? Because I want to know. So, vulnerability. He hit the nail on the head. We don't want to give people ammunition to hurt us more. That's what that is. You don't want to get, because it's going to come up in another argument. Okay. If you are following along with the state of self and forgiveness and resolving those issues as they come, be proactive, there is no other ammunition. There's no ammunition for that to come back up in a conversation because y'all already resolved it. So you're going to be more diligent of making sure you include her. You'll send a text real quick. All right, I'm going to be doing this, and this. Cool? Yes, sir.
I was just going to add to that. I'm not going to make myself vulnerable if I don't trust that person.
That's what I was going to say. Yes, trust. Trust is a big thing. So why can't we trust our partners, y'all? History. Yes. And didn't we start out with history? All the way from the acorn. We talked about, that's what we just did, from the acorn of nature versus nurture. We have unresolved, unrequited traumas, those things that we were not taught to talk about out loud because that is generational, that is all the way through socializing, that in our blood and almost in our DNA as black people. We cannot be vulnerable, y'all. Why? We can't break. Got to be strong. Why? Why? Had to be strong. Survival. So let's challenge ourselves, though. Let's challenge ourselves. What if we were confident enough in ourselves to know who we are, faith over fear, that whatever I'm putting out there, I'm going to get back. If I'm giving understanding and I am setting the intention for good and I had faith that I'm going to get that back, how does that feel? It is. So that's what it is. Faith that your intentions are going to be seen through this. And as long as your partner, that small microcosm, that the place that it all starts, is with you in that, why not be vulnerable? Because all you know is, hey, God's supposed to fix that right on up. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, you hurt my feelings when you yelled it like that at me, Miss Brenda. That hurt my feelings. Yes, sir.
I think I kind of learned that it's tone as well. Because you can have all the best intentions you want.
Spot on.
Honestly, I mean, after 30 years in, I know exactly when I said it, when it came out of my mouth,
Yes.
I knew exactly how it was received.
So if you know that,
Now I can say, well, oh my God.
you caught yourself. He's like, oh, dang it, that came out. My bad. See, that's good.
Even if you're in it and it's a hard discussion or hard situation, I mean, we got to stop using the excuse that, well, I didn't know how you was going to take it. I mean, again, after a certain amount of time, you know when you're with. If you don't,
That's what I said. Yeah, if you don't, we got to figure it out where we went wrong in 30 years.
So, I mean, I get it. You know, we married, got divorced, and remarried.
All right.
So we know. I know now when I start seeing the before. Oh yeah, we headed down that path.
Yeah.
Now, so it's time
Steer.
to watch the tone.
Yeah.
To say this is what. So I just think that over time you just gotta know.
Yes.
You gotta know the person that you're dealing with.
So just like you guys were saying that historically, you know, how behavior was for the negative and why you pull back, it can be for the positive too. So when you hear it coming out of your mouth, it's in your head, it's hot, you popping stuff off back and forth, you just like, and that's why, and you like, God bless America. I'm going to have to, okay. And so you stay in it because you be like, well, yeah, that's what I said. I said it. And she's like, okay. And then you have to come back and say, okay, I think we need a timeout. And then you come back and you say, look here, little mama, I know that sounded a lot better in my head than as it was coming out of my mouth, and I want to apologize. And I'm getting better at recognizing that tone.
That's pretty difficult.
Well, hey.
No, and the reason I say that because my voice is, you know, I say certain things that comes across a lot harsher than I feel.
I get it.
And she'll say, you're mean, or something like that. You know? And I'm like, hey, look,
that's what I said.
But look, well, when she say you're mean, it cuts me. I'm like, mean, not me. But I feel cut when you say that.
See? Yes. We need to call. That is a real scenario. Thank you.
But here's the deal. You know, my voice is heavy.
Heavy.
So I tend to project when I speak. And if I'm passionate, if I got passion behind it, then I understand it can come across aggressive. So I got to figure that out.
So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's find out. Okay. Guess what? Your partner's here. Hey, girl. And you heard him. What did he say?
He said that when he said something to me and I say that he's being mean, that cuts him.
Yeah.
And that makes him feel bad because he's not trying to be mean. He's just expressing what he feels.
Oh.
Well, I probably added that on. But
No, that was, no, you're right on. Yeah. Good. Is that what you were trying to say?
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Okay, so guys, you know, it's not, oh, magically we're fixed. No, it's that now, the way our brain works, that's a trigger for you now. You're going to be like, oh, hey, she said, and then you'll come back immediately, whoa, hey, I see that face. Baby, that's not how I meant it. And you'll walk away. You just, and that connects a relationship because you're like, whoa, I caught myself. I know how that sounded. I just needed that to happen. Nothing at you. How would that feel if he came back and said that?
I think I would be better, much better.
And now that you know,
Better already.
yeah, because I was just going to say, do you feel better now that you heard that intention?
I really did, because I didn't realize, my perception was that he was just being flippant and getting me out of his face.
Mm-hmm.
But that does help me because I didn't realize that I heard your feelings.
Good job. Yeah, see, look at that.
No, really.
Yeah, I mean, and so just like you were saying, so it's just making yourself aware now. And so
self-disclosure.
it was, and it was.
Little counseling exposure.
That was good though. So sorry.
But it's real.
Yeah.
We really had that occur not long ago.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Working on a project together.
Thank you. Sir, you were mentioning that vulnerability. How did you feel about that scenario? How did it hit with you?
Oh, well, I feel like I wasn't called. And secondly, I have to be quiet, and she has to say her mind, and I don't have to say my mind, which I will receive her
Yeah.
saying and also work on it. But it's like, mine, I'm never heard.
Yes, you're not heard. And so it's speaking up in regardless of what that partner is going to think. He was very vulnerable. He was just like, you know what, I'm just going to tell you. And this is it. And how did she receive it? Like, I didn't know that. And so we have to try, because what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to keep having resentment of saying something. You won't have resentment because he don't fix it, and because you didn't know. Even though y'all been together for how many years? 37 years. And and things change, guys. We have to be able, and we got to keep learning. Yes, it's not set in stone that you're going to be the way you are and you the way you are. Oh, no. Good catch. You good? So, yes.
Prime example, like what Bishop was just saying. Last night, I was fine, but I guess my tone, he came and said, "You're grumpy. Did you take a nap today?" And so I wasn't grumpy until he asked me if I was grumpy. So I told him, well, I'm grumpy now.
But if you would have handled it more so like this and said, you know what, I'm feeling this.
We play a lot. And so if I'm not in here laughing, then he knows when, something's wrong. I'm the same way. If he's too serious, I'm like, okay, what happened today? Are you okay? And
So
he always say, well, he's studying. Don't think I'm ignoring you because I'm studying.
Okay.
And we do need to know that because, like I said, I was just tired.
Yes.
And I come in the room and he's like, did you take a nap? Because you're grumpy right now.
Passive aggressive.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm grumpy now. Now that you said it, yeah. And
So
just because he shouldn't have asked me that. Like Brenda was just saying, it kind of cuts.
Yes.
When that's not what you're feeling. His perception was that I was grumpy. I wasn't grumpy. I was tired.
So just like that happened is, and just with the conflict resolution is, I felt this. Come in, hey, I felt this when you said that. And, I was tired. And it happens. And it's okay to be vulnerable in that. Because if you truly trust that person now with a new perspective, it's going to be a lot better. Because your mind is going to go directly to that.
Yeah, but when that happens, like you said, if that's not what I'm feeling, it's kind of like what Bishop said, when it cuts, I'm not going to tell you I was tired because you already messed up my evening.
Well,
Said,
how did he mess up your evening? Like, nobody can make you feel anything without your consent. So you chose that feeling. He didn't. Now you know. Look, now we're getting defensive. So we're gonna take a break in from that. So, if you guys want to ask any questions, put those up there. I'm getting escorted out the building. No, I'm just kidding. But done for this portion, and thank you guys so much. Put those up there.
All right, so we're going to adjourn to the back. There's
mountain of the deep, hear you calling me. I am not afraid to follow. Oh, waterfall, I feel the rushing. I want it all. It's all or nothing. Oh, waterfall, I feel the rushing. I want it all. It's all or nothing. Wash away my sin, raise me up again. Now I am a new creation. Grace and power and love baptizing me. What a wonderful salvation. Oh, waterfall, I feel the rush. I feel. I want it all. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. Oh, waterfall, I feel the rushing. I feel. I want it all. Yeah, it's all or nothing. Take me so amazing. Overtake me so amazing. Oh, waterfall, take me. Oh, waterfall, amazing. Oh, waterfall, take me. Oh, waterfall,
In heavenly places, 'cause you're standing here. The laws of gravity don't matter here. Whoa. I can see the waves, but I feel no fear. I can see the storm, but I feel no fear. Let me higher into your atmosphere. I put my heart and soul to this, so I got no regrets. Like you staring in some water, I just hope it all reflects. Yeah, I hope you see the growth, 'cause I've been taking little steps. Every song I made me shooting shots, hoping they connect. Just an underdog, been overlooked, but now it's time to flex. I was thrown into the fire, but they never saw me sweat. If it's anointed, then I'm good. I never worry who the best. Never been an Iron Man, but I feel power in my chest. Life is just a moment like a camera, I'ma capture this. Not living for the right now, because there isn't after this. See our bodies in the sky transforming like we optimists. Fake prophets acting deep, they pointing out the obvious. Keep the record clean and speak for God, 'cause one day he gon' audit it. Every knee knee gon' bow and tongue confession, proud you swallow it. The devil getting played in the media and politics. Spirit of the Antichrist, be careful you don't follow it. I've been through so many troubles, I done fought so many devils. I don't want so many battles, I can't even show the medals. You be surprised who the devil using as some vessels. Cry my way through hell just to hit another level. But Jesus went to hell through the cross to beat the devil. Never in the click of read, Jackie chose a rebel. So it's only fitting, miracles be happening every time I'm spitting. Like when Jesus opened blinded eyes and he gave him vision. Teach me how to walk on water, show me how to dance in the fire. Jesus, they led you like a lamb to the slaughter, put you in the grave but you got up. Jesus, why you gotta be so many problems? Why I gotta climb so many mountains? Jesus, they told me you the well in the fountain, told me reach for you if I'm drowning. Jesus, teach me how to fight these battles, teach me how to block these arrows. Jesus, raise me up, let me smack these pharaohs, teach me how to cast out devils. Jesus, I just wanna speak in tongues, I just wanna beat war drums till your kingdom come. I just wanna teach my sons, Lord please fill my lungs, cause I'm not done. Where I got fire, I got Jesus in me. I got hope, I got peace, I got victory. Now I'm stepping out on faith and the world gon' see. Yeah, I'm stepping out on faith and the world gon' see. We some water walkers, stepping out the darkness. Bad news all around, but we praise God regardless. We some water walkers, we ain't scared of darkness. Man, we killing all these demons, looking like we heartless. We some water walkers, water walkers, water walkers. Water walkers, water walkers, water walkers. Water walkers, water walkers, water walkers. Water walkers, water walkers. You gon' see us walking on water.
I got power.
Jesus,
I got victory.
Jesus,
I got Jesus.
Jesus,
Stepping out on faith.
Jesus,
Out of
Jesus, Jesus.
The one word I kept hearing over and over again is
Malik. With Tasha. Y'all ready? It's your boy, Judah. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a new day, y'all. We just come to bring a message. It's finna be a revival. Let's go.
Had it 2020 and I can't relate. Though I lost some friends, man, this year was great. Been through hell and back, learned to appreciate. Really dark night makes the morning great. Yeah. So until freedom, it's gonna be a fire feeder. Really need you, come on, people. Looks like we gon' see a revival. Yeah. Looks like we gon' see a revival. We need it, yeah. Revival. Looks like we gon' see a revival. Yeah. Looks like we gon' see a revival. Hey, Tasha, let's go.
Seems like the more we are getting smarter, so many egos are getting smaller. Uneducated will be no